Hi class, welcome to the volume lesson of our next solid. This solid is volumes of spheres. It's 13.3 for today. So for a sphere, I'm going to explain how they derive the formula for the volume of a sphere. But for now, let's just write down what the volume is. The volume of a sphere, the formula is 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. So r times itself 3 times pi times the fraction of 4/3. That's how you find the volume of any sphere. So there's really only one thing that you need. The only thing that you need is the radius. With the radius, you can find the volume of any sphere. So here's the first one. Find the volume of a regulation men's softball. If you were to Google this, you would find that the circumference of a men's softball is 12 inches. It is 12 inches around a men's softball. So like the great circle has a circumference of 12. So with that, we could find the radius, right? Because the circumference equals 2 pi r. And all we need is one thing for a sphere. We need the radius. So 12 is our circumference. 12 equals 2 pi radius. So now if we divide both sides by 2, now we get 6 equals pi times radius. And if you divide both sides by pi, which is roughly 3.14, you would get the radius to be approximately 1.91 inches. 1.91 inches. So now with the radius, you can find the volume of any sphere. The volume equals 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. 1.91 raised to the third. Let me show you how I do this in my calculator, then you can try it with me. So 1.91 raised to the third power. 1.91. Right below the clear button is the button where you raise to a power. So 1.91 raised to the third. That is this. Multiplied by 4/3. So times parenthesis 4 divided by 3. There's 4/3. And this number multiplied by pi. So times pi. This is how many cubic inches fit inside a softball. 29.19. 29.19. Volume is 29.19 cubic inches. Okay, let's try the next one. This one you'll notice is not a sphere, right? It is half of a sphere. And half of a sphere is a hemisphere. So what you could do, class, is you could take the volume equals 4/3 pi radius cubed and then cut it in half because a hemisphere holds half of the volume of a sphere. Or you could say, what's 4/3 divided by 2? 4/3 cut in half is 2/3. So the volume of a hemisphere is 2/3 pi r cubed. Okay? This 10 right here is pointing at the diameter. The whole diameter is 10. So of course the radius equals 5. So volume equals 2/3 pi 5 cubed. Okay? I would encourage you to try this one on your calculator so you can get used to it. 5 cubed. 5 times 5 times 5, or 5 raised to the third, is 125. And that is multiplied by, instead of 4/3, it's a hemisphere, so we're multiplying it by 2/3. So if I go math, enter, enter, the fraction is 25/3 times pi. So the exact answer, the volume equals 250/3 pi, and that's going to be, what's our units here? Centimeters. So this is cubic centimeters. That's how many cubic centimeters fit inside that hemisphere. Let's give an approximate answer by multiplying by pi. So multiply by 3.1415, all that. 261.8 centimeters. 261.8 cubic centimeters. Volume is approximately 261.8 cubic centimeters. All right, last one. Joanna wants a snow globe for Christmas, so by golly, I better make one for her, right? I'm making a hemispherical globe for my daughter Joanna, and the area of the circular base is 7.065 square inches. How much water is needed to fill the snow globe completely? So it says how much water is needed to fill the snow globe. That's saying what is the volume, right? So the volume of a hemisphere, this is a hemisphere. The volume of a hemisphere is 2/3 pi radius cubed. So I got to find the radius, and the only thing I'm given is the area of the base. 7.065 square units is the area of that base. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So 7.065 is the area of the circle. So 7.065 equals pi r squared. It says use 3.14 for pi. So let's now solve for the radius. Okay? So I'm going to divide both sides by pi, which in this case is 3.14. So 7.065. And I'm going to divide by 3.14. Now this equals r squared. 2.25 equals r squared. So if I square root this, I would get my radius. The square root of 2.25, my radius is 1.5. The radius equals 1.5. So if my radius equals 1.5, I can now find the volume of the hemisphere. The volume of the hemisphere is 2/3 pi 1.5 cubed. 1.5 cubed. This number multiplied by 2/3. Hemisphere is 2/3. So 2.25 times pi. 2.25 pi. Volume equals 2.25 pi cubic. Got to get my units here again. The area is in square inches, so the volume would be in cubic inches. And then again, let's have an approximate answer by multiplying by 3.14, or multiplying by pi rather. 7.07. 7.07 cubic inches. So once again, class, just like the area of a circle, just like the surface area of a sphere, just like the volume of a sphere, you only need one thing. The one thing you need is the radius. With the radius, you can find the area of a circle, the surface area of a sphere, and the volume of a sphere. Let me know if you have any questions when you get to class tomorrow.